This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.
In this beautiful country called Kenya. Wasewe to Eldoret, Shamge, Mombasa, mambo vipi. Of course, Kisumu pia, mnaweza stream live on www.vibesradio.co.ke. We are also live right about now on our Facebook page. It's at Vibes Radio KE. Pia YouTube as well, that is at Vibes Radio KE. Na leo tunataka kuongea kitu important sana. We're actually jumping off yesterday's conversation about the healthcare. Lakini now this starts in Kenya being ranked the third highest when it comes to teenage pregnancies worldwide. As in what? Imepata wase yani off guard. I really didn't expect it to be this serious. You know, alafu pia 98 new HIV infections weekly. I mean, so we want to make sense of this all. But pia, we're talking about you being, wewe kama kijana, you being on the agenda setting table. Mambo ya manifesto, we've been talking about this since at us due, I think 2 weeks ago, right? Are you really part of the team that makes policies that touch on the lives of the youth out here? Yeah. Yes, some facts that we have. Apparently, something called the County Youth Policy. This was adopted by only 4 counties amongst the 47, and this is really shocking. Some serious stats over here, and we need some changes. And I'm very happy because today we have a serious guest, and she's going to help us.
serious.
We have an amazing guest.
No,
I'm not involved.
If I was you, I'd have used my voice on this one.
Ladies
and gentlemen, all the way from being the Kev I know.
We want to talk about Youth Policy Dialogue Forum. Yeah, we have a guest, Nataka, introduce. Tell us what you do so we can dive right into the conversation.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Mi naitwa Vania Kibui. I work with AMREF in the Youth and Adolescent Hub. So I lead the regional policy, advocacy, and capacity strengthening work. Story mob. It's a long title.
Complex.
Yeah. Complex, yeah. But let's see. I'm passionate about making a change.
Yes.
And for me, public policy was the pathway I found, because initially I kind of started looking at, okay, how do I get involved? And it was like, it was 2 things, either health or policy.
Yeah.
And then when I looked more into it, I was like, okay, the government is the biggest decision-making body in any country. So I was like, oh, so maybe getting into public policy is the route. And I've been part of that ever. That was like in 2010. And I've been part of that ever since.
Yeah. It's been some time, yeah?
It has, eh? It doesn't show. It doesn't show. We thank God for water.
So I know you have an amazing initiative in partnership with the National Youth Council, in Kenya Daima. Of course, Vibes Radio pia situko in the place. Right. Now, talk about this Youth Policy Dialogue Forum and what it entails and how the role you guys play as AMREF.
So, as AMREF, let's start with this. Let me start with where AMREF's...
Na pia unaweza ongea na lugha ya ground.
Yeah, ground. Yeah. Try. So when we were thinking about engaging young people, this was years ago, when we started like having conversations with health and stakeholders. This was just after, you know, at the Africa continental level, walikuwa naongea kuhusu harnessing the demographic dividend. So this is when you have a shift in your population, right? And so everyone, because you know now everyone is saying the future is in Africa and Asia. So the shift in terms of population started, you know, turning in that, oh, okay, these continents or this particular continent, it's like the average age of a Kenyan is an 18-year-old. It's an 18-year-old, and they'll most likely be a female, right? So harnessing demographic dividend means investing in that demographic change so that it turns the tide for your economic development.
Okay, sapo umeongea kizungu mingi sana.
So
demographic change. Ebu tuambie kwanza hiyo ni nini?
So kasa hivi tunasema ngati ukiangalia any census wanasema vile youth ni 75%. That's a demographic change.
Okay.
Demographic is like Sami simso statistics lakini nitatry. It's a description of people, their age, sex and
gender,
all of that.
beliefs,
right. Yeah, sana, yeah. Without beliefs, sana, but your age, like age distribution.
Oh, okay.
So, kuangalia wakaona the biggest chunk of humans, like for instance, living in this country, are 75% are under 35. So that's a demographic change. So, kagava unafaa kufikiria, nika tu investment, right? Niko na 10K hapa na pale wananiambia tebu banki sijui ni how much. hii 10k nitatumiaje ndio 10 years down the line ikuwe 100k kitu kama hiyo, right? So ukiwa na hiyo change uko na 75% of your population wako under 35, unafaa kuangalia needs zao ni nini. Na hizi needs zao nitainvest aje
ama dongapi ama yani tunajipangaje for the next few years.
Yes, hata si few, inafaa kuwa long term, like you're thinking 20 years ahead. You understand? So that's what you call harnessing. Jusa nika unai protect. Unaelewa? So umelewa hiyo ya harnessing your demographic dividend.
Umesikia kizungu, wewe unajua hii kizungu.
Mimi ni sharp manzi, niko na papers.
Kev.
Lakini imetry.
Niko na papers manzi.
Yeah. So able to chap here, we would like to pretty much talk about your story of health, Kev.
Exactly. So now the pillars that you said you guys are actually putting your priorities on. Zenye affect mavijana ni pillars kagani? Because I know today anyway we're focusing on health.
Yeah.
But generally, what kind of pillars are we talking about?
So kasi AMREF tunangalianga skills, voice and participation.
Okay.
Right? Because vitu zingine ukiangalia ka health, some things are always going to be constant. For instance, right? So you can't change that people will be sick. You can't change that people will need contraceptives. You can't change, okay, let's say you can't change that young people are having sex. You can't change that they'll need contraceptives. You can't change that they'll need services, right? And you can't change that they'll need facilities. The thing you can do for young people is invest in them in a way that they're able to we're all able to bring our voices together. Ndio kama tuko na hii need, tunaweza iongelelea. Na tujue ni wapi tutapeleka hiyo need.
All right, so
na ni nini tutaitisha tukifika pale.
No, umesema when it comes to developing easy policies, these county youth policies. Mavijana wanafaa kwa table, isn't it? And we are saying, based on what I'm reading over here, according to the information I was given by the National Youth Council, it's only 4 counties that have adopted these policies.
Right.
So clearly, the youth are not really engaged when it comes to sharing ideas and the challenges that they're going through, for example, na mambo ya health, education. But today I want us to tackle health. Yet, now, unajua, earlier we were talking about, for example, Lizzie Mastats in the Ministry of Health wameshare.
Teen pregnancies.
Yeah, maze teen pregnancies, HIV and AIDS. Maybe we can start with let's tackle HIV and AIDS and, also teen pregnancies. I mean, what's going on?
So, I've done this for a while, and every time this statistic come out, everyone is shocked. And those of us in this field are like, why are you shocked? Because if you haven't been doing the work, you can't expect to get the results for work you haven't been doing. Uwezi kama ulipwe salon na uko na do job your man, right? So Kasai last year I was on National Leadership Forum and we were talking about the same thing, teen pregnancies. And at that time, at the height of COVID, we had still gotten alarming.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember? Alarming numbers in terms of teen pregnancies. The year before that, same conversation. So it's like we get this shock and awe and alarm, and then we don't necessarily...
We do nothing about it.
Concerted efforts. But we did something. So what we did was...
As AMREF?
We rolled out, it's multi-partner.
Okay, sawa.
Called the Sauti Sasa campaign.
Okay.
Speak Now. And so together with the National Council for Population and Development, we then developed what we call the Sauti Sasa Action Group. Sasa easy kwa ground.
Okay.
But, funds allowing, we're only able to do that in 3 counties. So what happens in this thing is that you even have adolescents and young people engaging their county officials, and then they develop action plans that respond to that county. Unaelewa, unajua drivers za teen pregnancy na hii hazitakuwa the same na Kericho.
Okay.
Unaelewa, na Bomet na Nakuru and all of that. Ma youth wa huko ndio watajua either hapa ni child marriage na FGM, ama hapa ni transactional sex, maybe Busia.
Hao ndio kuna information.
Unaget, hao ndio kuna information kwa grau. Na hao ndio wanafaa kufanya kazi na as in collaborate na county officials, kind of Ministry of Health, Ministry of Gender, youth at that level to develop, I'd call them context specific, just responsive. Yani policy na make sense kwa.
So, sorry to cut you short. So mimi as a youth, na nikitaka kuengage, let's say Nairobi County, so do I najituma huko na uliza, guys, is there like a program hapa ya mavijana nini kuna information nafaa kuwapatia, ama do they actually wanakuja kwa mahood wanatu get alafu wanatafuta ma community leaders nini ndo tunajitokeza? How do you engage with the county?
That's a good question. Because ideally unafaa kwa ukijua ni wapi utaenda. So what we've been doing kama ipat simesema voice skills na participation. Ipat ya skills ni like on advocacy skills.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you make change? And part of that process is knowing what your problem is and then knowing who is concerned with your problem. So kasai zile counties tumefanya naweza kugia example maybe ya Kilifi, Samburu, Kakamega, Kisumu, imekuwa even Nairobi imekuwa same process. Hakuna county haina youth group. Right? I'm a youth-led organization. So either through, so what we did, unajua sasa sisi sema through the government, sababu sa gava is amorphous, right? Is identify those youth groups and then work with them to develop their skills in how they can engage policy makers. So wakasema, kasa sisi tukiangalia hivi. Shida yetu ni girls hawapati access to sanitary towels. Okay. And what's that? That's mental health management. Like for instance in Kilifi. And for Samburu kasema yetu ni youth friendly services. Okay. So mtafanya nini? So mwendo ufanye background. Uendapo kwa county uulize mtu wa gender ni nani? Mtu wa health ni nani? County chief nurse ni nani? Nani ni nani? You have to do the work. Una assemble, then you build those relationships. Mimi naitwa fulani wa fulani, naishi Ongwaro, hivi ndio kazi tunafanya na hivi ndio tunataka. So it takes a bit of back and forth. Sababu ni negotiation. Sindio? Jugava pia siko na nini zake. Si ati, it's not that the government is ill meaning, let's just be honest.
Of course.
Na si ati wanakamali wanasema hata tutafanya yeni.
Ati wajali.
Yeah, it's usually that there's a disconnect between what young people need and what the facilities are offering or what the government is offering. True right? Story, yeah. So bringing those things together is now the work that youth groups, youth organizations and youth advocates do. And it will look different depending on your county. So utapata representation ya youth county ka Samburu kwa gender policy, kwa youth TWG itakuwa more sababu culturally kuna vile maybe wana interact na itakuwa different na nai.
Of course.
You understand? Yeah. Nai sababu kuna ma youth groups wengi. They have to organize themselves and decide hii story tutaiaddress hivi. So because pia tuko na social media, I would actually ask us to even tutafutane social, right? Ndio tujue vile tuta approach the government.
By the way, MVPs, if you're listening to us right now, kumbuka you can actually stream live. Unaweza watch hii conversation live on our YouTube and our Facebook page. It's @vibesradio.ke. Alafu pia tunakuuliza ni challenges gani mnapitia when it comes to health. Yeah. Today I want us to tackle health, right? And what ideas ama recommendations would you offer to pate ma solutions? Now, Vania, let's focus on Nairobi. For example, alafu tutendezo makaunti zingine mali watu wanatusikiza, mali watu wanatupata.
Yeah.
Ni shida gani sana, especially when it comes to hizi things like sexual health, for example, when you're dealing with youth.
But
what information are you getting?
Peer people don't have access to schools like Kitambo. We would have like peer trainings in schools, and nowadays specialists are not hata experts are allowed kuingia chuo katikati ya term ati wakama wafundisho seki tu.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that should come back and just be a conversation starter kwa grao?
Yeah, I think ni kitu tunaweza inafaa ku address from different angles. On one part kumekuwa na story ya kuna policy, right? On the policy angle. So let's look at it in different ways. There's one on, let's say, Ministry of Health, right? Wakama up na reproductive health policy. I policy ita determine vile healthcare workers watakuwa trained. Ita determine pia hiyo training utapata information gani na services gani ukienda pale. Isipo include contraceptives, hata kama we ni adolescent, be sure utaziget. Unanielewa? Isipo include training for age appropriate, like how to engage adolescents and youth on SRHR, STDs, STIs, HIV, all of that. Be sure that that's not where you get it. Right? So, policy inafaa kuwa responsive to the needs of young people. Okay. So, tuanze hapo, right?
In a specific region.
Ka Nairobi. Lakini so unaona ka health sababu policy making mandate is at the national level. Ministry of Health at the national level wata create policy yao. Alafu each county then has a mandate to domesticate that policy to its own context.
Domesticate.
Or kuifanya yani wasiyo mtaa wa understand according to their needs.
Yani waitengeneza tena according to their needs. Iseme sasa hii ni ya Kilifi, hii ni ya Isiolo hivyo.
In short wafinye shati. Unajua when you oversize shirts so you have to resize it.
But ni kufinya shati. Hiyo nitatumia tena. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. So lakini hii process pia ina need financing. You get?
Yeah.
So unaona kagava, I think some of these funds should be supporting youth-led organizations that are engaging in policy making so that they can follow through the process. Because easy process, they're intensive and they require financing. Because pia uwezi enda ku-advocate na unasikia nja. Ukonja. You get what I mean? So there's that one part.
Yeah.
And then sasa kuna mali watu wana get information. Right? So because uwezi get kwa facility, maybe utaget, maybe hautaget. Si unaenda kwa internet. Right? So then you find that ukiwa peke yako mahali na una need services, the first person utacall ni nani?
Wow.
Right? Nyambu, unajua ile place iko nani? Unadhani mko services? Labda kuna labda iko. Ebu twende tukacheka, okay. Then uanze kufanya hesabu, okay. Sasa tutafika hapo aje? Ni how much? Haya, unatoa do wapi? Hiyo facility na iko wapi?
Distance sasa.
Yeah. In fact, Nairobi, because there's more health facilities than other places. I would even say maybe Busia.
I can imagine, Maze, because people always complain, easy ma centers ziko far, ana transport.
Unaweza pata
sick,
and people have actually passed away.
Of course.
Right? They've lost their lives.
My uncle also, we were in a similar situation. Usiku Maze uko Ocha. Kabla wapate health center. By the time alikuwa nafika sasa kwa hiyo place, guy died.
Yeah. Even me, my grandmother, and it's so close to home. So nai at least because there's a lot of movement. Unaweza pata information hapa pale. Hata labda usikie facility unaishi Buru na facility iko D. Utaenda D. Right? Yeah. You can be able to access. Lakini sasa if maybe you're in Samburu na hiyo facility iko I don't even know the
next city.
Yeah,
the
maybe.
next town.
Right.
Yeah.
And some places you can only. I remember when we were doing the drives for sanitary towels during COVID. There's some places that could only be accessed by donkeys.
What?
Kofa. Gari ezi access your place. So that adolescent there who needs kuna time ya kufikiria contraceptive. Una get? So hata history ya Nairobi. So each country has each county ikona such different contexts. And that's why going to the youth themselves is important.
All right, guys, the question is still, kuna mashida gani umepitia bana when it comes to your health? Yeah? Hii health sector, we know it's very broad. It's one of the most powerful ones in the country. Nimechiki guys wameingia hapo na comments. Head into our social media, it's at Vibes Radio KE. Remember, we're having a massive, impressive conversation with Vania Kibui. She's the Regional Policy and Capacity Strengthening Lead kutoka AMREF. I want us to take a break. Alafu tukikam back, we'll talk about now the recommendations. Yeah? Alafu pia tutasoma hizo comments. Guys, keep on talking to us. Alafu, the hashtag is Combox and Kev. I'm going to be opening the phone lines in just a second to share with us the issues that you've observed kwa health sector. Nini umepitia mazejo? Even maybe your parents, your cousins, a friend of yours that you would know. It's a 0719-012-700. Alafu pia tukuna read moze. Live in Love Rhythm. It's a fire one. Today we have Elaine up against Taras Riley. In fact, it was in a Ridimos and then quick one to Madlize na we finish up with this powerful conversation. Twende kazi.
This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.
That's right. Piga simu right now if you can on 0719012700. Kuliko na Ridimos, we have Elaine, another love song up against Taras Riley's. Sorry, is a sorry word. Call us. Now votia Elaine ama Taras Riley because this one is fire. Uko na nani leo bro?
Taras Riley.
Uko na Taras? Awesome. Mimi niko na Elaine.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Piga simu. It's a 0719-012-700. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Niaje unavotia nani bro?
Hello.
Unavotia Elaine. Big up yourself. Vibes Radio. Hello. Good morning.
Ako batilo.
Kweli.
Sikia watu wa Taras.
Good morning.
Kimikat nijea.
Ni poa gotia Brayo hapo.
Niko fiti. Unavotia nani hapo hivi, Taras Riley ama Elaine?
navutia jo. I wanna be more, baby. More than just a friend.
Nice.
More than just a friend.
Big up. Asante sana.
Nakwambia sasa ya mwisho Torres Riley ama Alain. Good morning vibes. Hello.
Hey, morning vibes radio.
Wagwan, jina nani? Unavutia nani? Sorry, sema tena.
Taras. Asante sana.
Imebaki ngapi nikushinde?
Moja. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, guys.
Unavutia nani bro?
Kapitana.
Asante sana. Thank you so much for that call. So now to establish the Taras ameshinda hii reading mode. So we have to continue with a serious conversation.
I'm done.
Unaishia home?
I'm out. Mimi naishia. Unajua ukishinda vitu unaishia home.
Usko na pressure.
Sasa uanze kutoa form carry to be.
Sportsmanship hapa hivi. Guys, bado tuko kwa hii conversation of course the youth policy dialogue forum. Tumeuliza swali fulani very important one on our social media. Ni challenges gani mnapitia when it comes to your health as a youth? We're talking to Vania Kibui who's actually just engaging with us and making us just learn how to be part of this agenda setting table when it comes to vitu zinatu affect leo tuna tackle health. So we're asking you, ni shida gani mazee ushaicheki yenye unapitia as a young Kenyan woman ama a girl when it comes to your health care? Nitafunga my phone lines in just a second. Now Vania, let's go on. Sasa tumecheki hiyo story ya contraceptives. I mean it's even crazy. Nasikia kuna hata contraceptives fake kwa market. Can you imagine that? Wewe a young man and you know that your health is your wealth.
Yeah,
you don't want to have kids now nini lakini unaenda pale bana over the counter meds kumbe ni fake. So what's really happening and what are some of the recommendations about tackling these issues that we can put to the table as a youth?
Yeah, I think what the National Youth Council is doing is so critical because if you're not on the table, you're going to be on the menu.
Yeah.
People say that a lot, but me personally, at your table to create a new. Tukiwa sote pamoja. And you see, this policy is the table.
Yes.
Right? So if you have, through dialogue forums, and actually dialogue is a very good access way to getting the things you need on the priority table. Because half the time, you see, the government is sitting somewhere with Kasai. This county government is working off of CIDP walitengeneza vile waliingia in office, right? So sai tunaongea how many days to voting?
34, yeah, okay.
So kajana nilikuwa nimetweet nikasema as a young person ukikaa home hata you guys you're thinking uta create future ingine noma sana for yourself.
We're hoping,
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But if you don't transform how you participate, you're going to get the same stuff you're getting.
Yeah.
You're going to vote the way you found guys voting.
Wow.
Nani get?
Yeah.
So zile conversations we are having need to be transformational. Mpaka you get those people who are running to turn the tide towards us.
Yeah.
Nanielewa? And that happens by when you are asking for it and when you demand for it.
So you have to demand. Pressure lazima pewe.
Yes, because it's not always gonna come to you. There's every generation is going to have its weight.
What's the downside of not kukosa kuparticipate kwa maforums ka hizi as a youth?
Well, on one part, kuna wale ma youth who because wako na na access haitawa affect. Si ndio?
Kweli.
Kuna wako hivyo.
Na wengi hawana do.
Kuna wengine na wengi hawana do. Si ndio? Na kuna wengine whether you get access to capital,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Ndio wanze biz. Whether there's security in a neighborhood, whether you have facilities that have young people. So for instance, kuna program tulikuwa tumepilot kama hiyo ya Nairobi County, ndio wakuwe na young community health workers in every facility in every ward. Ndio ukiingia unaona msichana
so
anakuelewa. Because also that was a hindrance. So that small thing could change whether 5-10 people in that ward get
treatment
or even the contraceptives access, because hii story sasa ya nini fake out I get kwa hosi maybe to get kwa facility fulani mali unani get. So the downside is you get what you get. Utashindanga ukicomplain unani get
kwa Twitter nini.
Alafu tena the other thing is figuring out how we can transform our power online to actual change on the ground. Because let's be honest, policy making bodies are prehistoric. Right?
True.
Sindio?
Hazijakuanga updated.
So you're trying to change a 17th century system.
Na hashtag. Unatumia hashtag unasema we will get change.
Yeah.
Lakini kwa grao things are different.
And so for us as young people, kwanza hii generation yetu, okay, mimi nishabuka lakini
You're still kinda young.
I'm associate anyway.
Yeah.
Nico.
Yeah.
As you said, we thank God for water.
Yeah.
So we don't have a choice but to participate.
Okay.
Unanielewa? So kasa, the reason I was saying each generation iko na nini yake, iko na burden yake. When it was about kuget mbeberu waondoke, kwani kina Dena Mkemathi walikuwa si alikuwa kiwa youth alafu
Wow.
si ndio? Unanielewa? Kibaki alianza historia kiwa si alikuwa youth. Yeye ndio aliandika hiyo manifesto ya KANU just out of university.
What?
Do you understand?
True.
He was a young guy and he served his country until we laid him to rest.
So you say now is the time.
So you, what's your struggle?
What's your struggle?
Do you understand? If you want this government to serve you, it's not going to be on the road of good intentions. You understand? You have to choose to work with it. So we can't choose to sit at Tisijali.
0719-012-700. Guys, tupigie simu. Tunakuuliza ni challenges gani mnapitia when it comes to the healthcare system. Maybe umestruggle kupeleka msee hosi ni far, ama ulienda pale ukacheki hata kuna madawa. Nilikuwa nasikia kulikuwa na place fulani huko hivyo size huko Nyeri, hakukuwa na syringes kwa hospitali fulani. You know, things like this.
So
And what are you recommending?
Hakuna.
Hakuna manzejo. Tupigie simu 0719-012-700. Na kama uko na swali za Vania Kibui, yes, please engage my comments nini. We're really excited about that. Kuna mse hapa hivi anaitwa Tony King anasema hello people, hope vibes family mko poa, hope the producer is also okay. Shocking news mazee hizo za jana. Kev, my point is we need to get at least my ambulances mingi kwa barabara zisaidie kupeleka wase kwa hosi haraka. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kev.
Morning, tunaongea na nani? Ongeza volume.
Unaongea na Dividend Mania.
Uko na comment gani story ya healthcare? Unapitia mashida gani na ungependa uko na recommendations gani?
So mashida ni dawa. Dawa ndio kitu ya kwanza ndio.
Hakuna dawa.
Dawa unaenda unaandikiwa dawa, unaingia kwa pharmacy yao unaambiwa dawa hakuna, lakini kilipa unapewa dawa.
Haya. Sasa
So hiyo inakuwa
na gani nyingine?
hiyo tu.
Haya, asante sana Joe. Big up. Good morning, Vibes Radio.
Good morning.
Morning, my brother. Who are we talking to? Man, 0719-012-700. Donning Irungu anasema too much pride. Boys never go for checkups. We'll touch on that.
Inaoma by the way.
Vibes Radio, good morning. Ya amesema kweli.
Okay.
Wagwan ndugu, tunaongea na nani bana? Nini bana ni network. Vibes Radio, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Morning
Matara.
Morning to. Tunaongea na nani?
Ongea na Alison from Kwale.
Big up Alison. Uko na swali gani hapa for our guest Vania?
Nikafaa tu ikazane kujenga hizo ma health facilities karibu na build that area ili watu wasipate tabu na hiyo service.
Asante sana. Big up Vibes Radio, good morning. Morning, tunaongea na nani?
Unaongea na Waidhaka Utamadhali.
Ingia kwa mjadala bana. Shida gani umeona kwa hiyo health sector? Wewe kama youth man.
Sasa huku kwetu Madhali hospitali iko faa juu. Kuna siku nilienda usiku nikiwa mgonjwa. Nikakosa dawa, nikaambiwa ati ninunue na ilikuwa inatoka 1,200. Nikashindwa nikaenda wapi na ni usiku niko mgonjwa.
Uanze wapi?
Na gari tumekoboa. Nikashindwa nitafanyaje. Mimi nilirudi home tu nikagojea kwa asubuhi nikaenda kununua hiyo dawa.
Haya. Asante sana. Vibes Radio, good morning. Haya. Vibes Radio, good morning. Izo.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Big up. Unapiga kutoka wapi leo bro?
Napiga kutoka Rongai.
Ma comments hivi ni nini za Vania, kuna swali yote?
Sawa, sisi unasikia hakuna madawa ati hivyo.
Shortage ya madawa, si ndio?
Madawa ndo hakuna.
Haya, asante sana brother, big up yourself. So Vania, umesikia hizi story ya ambulance, madawa ni expe.
Shida zinafanana. Unajua, one thing is that the problems are almost common to the different places that we've actually talked to people. Kwale, Kilifi, mwana wase waronga pia wana complain, Nyeri, still the same. Story na dawa. Yeah.
So if you think about it, na tunaongea story ya voting, for instance. Ukiuliza msee vile ata vote na kwa Kwale, anadhani yako very different na mtu wako Isiolo. Na mtu wako Nai. Lakini kile amjui ni mashida ni the same. So this is a really good opportunity because now even your audience wanaanza kuelewa, okay.
Has the public health system failed us? Tumebaki na private sector.
How honest you want me to be?
Tumebaki na NGO na churches nini, lakini sasa yenye tunaweza afford wana offer free services ni ya gava.
So that's the problem. Okay, so here the way that we have worked as a country, unfortunately, miaka mob sana, health has not been a priority. So ukiangalia, so tuseme national budget, I'm sure my youth waliendelea mkate imepanda au sijui nini, lakini ukiangalia 2020 when we got a pandemic it was the first time in I don't know how long that the health budget was increased, and this was to look at universal health coverage. So ukiangalia universal health coverage, essentially everybody should get the health services they need without financial hardship. That is the essence of universal health coverage. So which means even if Kenya was a flagship country and it had counties, it means it's not being achieved. There's an investment, there's a breakdown somewhere. So ukiona hakuna medicine at facility level, shida ilianza procurement level. Nanipata? So watu wale wanafanya budget advocacy, for instance, one of the things they look for is reports za expenditure. Na kupata hizo reports pia ni kipindi.
Bureaucracy nini.
Nanielewa? Utafanya budget advocacy yako, useme even if tunataka, this is what we are advocating for, but you may not know how it was actually spent. So one of our asks is for transparency. Mseme hizi dozi natumiwaje. Since these are public funds, and they should be spent on medicines, so that whoever, because you see when you're sick you're already vulnerable, and you're a young person and you don't have the finances, so that's one of the things for me. If I was to look at one of the asks, is to make it possible for young people to get engaged, to get the information they need, so that they can do the advocacy they have to do. And then the public facilities, they subsidize the private ones, because kama umse alikuwa na need 1K, that was likely a clinic private. Na umse wa clinic private haizi kupatia nini tu hivyo.
So I see we don't have time, lakini guys, tuendelee conversation kwa your hashtag, and I'm telling you one thing, Brian, it is all about peace. Kumbuka hiyo. Unakumbuka?
It's all about peace, by the way.
Yes.
And I think I need to just join it up with what we need to say next. NCIC and Standard Group have come together to make sure that we as a nation tunangara tukiwa pamoja ama namna gani. So today we'll be focusing on some of the things kama intermarriage ama long-term inter-ethnicity friendship. Kama yangu na Kevo, unajua Kevo ni mse wangu bana, na yesi from the same tribe as me. So these bonds are what makes us great each and every single day. So what I'd like you to know is that anyone who's close to you right now is your community. So the vernacular language is actually going to make you who you are. The election bila noma Penda Jirani campaign imeletwa kwako na Standard Group and na pia National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
Awesome guys. Unfortunately it wasn't endelea sana because it's already 10 a.m. right now. I'm going to play the news, and when we come back tumalizane in style. Guys, it's 10 a.m. Hold it right there. Good morning. Nachiki Dennis Aseto is getting ready for the news. And then, for just 5 minutes, we wrap up in style. Ama sivyo, iko nini. Good morning. Hashtag Combox and KF. Twende kazi.
Positive vibrations on the morning vibes. Vibes Radio, the home of reggae.
All right. Welcome back, guys. Najua mjaichek extension kai. It's about 5 minutes after 10.
Extended preps.
Nakumbuka hizo. Wase wa sharp walikuwa wamebaki class. And then the other ones wameenda kudoze kina Yobra.
Ndio sasa. Mimi sikuwa na doze maze. Mimi kwa chopi. Mimi nilikuwa index 3.
Wase wa transnight.
Sisema from where, si from huko mbele, from behind.
So I just want to mention one thing, guys. Vabayado watakuwa to join, of course, later on at about 11:30. Watakuwa in the building, that is Celine and DJ parties. But now we're still wrapping up. I want us to wrap up this conversation in style. Tunabonga na Vania Kibui. She's the regional policy and capacity strengthening lead kutoka AMREF. We're talking about youth policy dialogue forum. Kuna actually spaces where, courtesy of the county na organizations kama NYC, where they invite you to actually come forth. You share your ideas and the issues you're going through in certain areas. Sasa zitonga asks. Sasa unasema this is what we demand. Tunataka improvements kwa upande wa health ama education, and actually for the record this is a fact that NYC na wase wa UNDP and the government Daima Kenya, they will be doing tours across different regions in the country. So stick around, we will be telling you where mnaweza patana now. So now Vania, as we wrap up this really conversation noma sana bana, what are your last words?
So first of all, I really want to thank, and also NYC, Kipra, Ministry of Devolution for this, and youth serving organizations that have come together to realize, by the way, to engage young people, we have to work together. So that collaboration, wanasepanga revolution starts with a conversation. So the fact that those conversations started, na tumefika mali tuko, which is good.
We're making progress.
Yes. Look out for where the information is. And so now in relation to engagement, so sika youth serving organizations na my youth sai tuna try, right, we'll have dialogues, but in 30 days we'll vote. We need our county governments to send us information where we are at. Moche ku expect mse ataachana na nini yake, hasoli yake na mradi yake hiyo day,
atende kwa county offices,
aende kusikiza hiyo story. Na si ati hataki. The question is, iso tano naweza make leo na still health service ati iko free, nitaachana nayo ndio nikuja nisikize public participation, right? And those are the questions. So yes, unaweza kwa notice board, but ongea na radio stations wapeane information, tupatane kwa ground hata kama chini ya mti. Collect those views from there, so that the CIDPs that will be formed for them, that will govern what the counties do for the next 5 years, have young people's voices included. So kuna hizi dialogue sahi, make sure zile views ziko kwa dialogue sahi zi show up kwa CIDP. Ikishow up kwa CIDP, ita show up kwa budgets, show up kwa strategies na ma policies za county.
So wase wa NYC wakikam through, wase wa UNDP, Ministry of Devolution, nini wakikam, please guys, share your issues with them.
You show up, ama hata mjue vile kivyenu mta collect views zenu zikwe represented. We hata labda hiyo siku utakuwa na awezi make it, lakini kuna mse anaweza kuendea. So find ways, your own ways, innovate for your community, so that your views are there.
Hata social media nini.
And finally, ukiangalia health, nikuwa kusema one thing. Unakumbuka jana when we started this conversation, we're looking at several things. Number one is self-education. So hata wakiongea juu ya policies, look at how is this information empowering me? Inanisaidiaje ku make decisions zitanisaidia kama mimi ama zitanielewa. So public awareness, public education, you get. Hata kama it's for girls, for boys, boys don't understand menstruation and all of them have girlfriends.
True.
Right?
Can imagine.
Mnaelewa
tunaelewa tu mood swings.
And that's
your part.
And maybe even that's not related to that, it's just related to hormones, it's not related to the menstruation. You get what I mean? So you get, ukiwa na hii headache ya hii side, maybe that's not si kuchoka, maybe ni kitu ingine. Na ukienda kwa hosi ujue, you understand? So that kind of information. So self-awareness from this level. Then there is accessing that information on where to go, and even knowing what questions to ask your health facility. Then, where is your health facility?
Where is it?
Right? So wanafaa ku make sure according to vile mmedistributiwa kwa hiyo county, wa invest in facilities. Mse wa Kwale ametuambia the same thing, na mse wa Madhara ametuambia the same thing. Facility iko far. So facilities zikaribia watu. For instance, ukifika pale, who is there? Ametrainiwa, anakuelewa, akona time yako. right?
That's a very important question.
It's very important question. So mfike pale jo hata mfanye investigation zenu. Ni facilities gani ngapi ziko huku, mimi najua ziko nne, mimi najua whatever data you have, you go with it there.
Yeah, exactly.
Then let it wacha ibaguliwe
Let's
kule.
make it legit, manze. Usiogope.
Yeah. Wacha ibaguliwe mkifika huko. Aya. Diagnosis, all those things, because it comes from them being trained.
Sawa.
Right?
Yes.
Alafu sasa medications. Hiyo ni story ya budget.
Okay.
Unanielewa? So
Yeah.
it's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a good health systems will help young people to learn and grow. Yani unaweza kujitahidi.
Health is wealth.
Ukiwa poa. You understand?
Exactly.
So it's something that definitely needs investment.
Thank you so much, Vania Kibui. Najua tumekula time yako. But maze, hii knowledge ni powerful sana. Ilikuwa ilibidi ifike kwa ground.
Yeah.
And no one better than you than actually, breaking it down. Umebonga fiti sana na najua wasa wameelewa fiti. The engagement is amazing on our social media. Calls na shikibado watu wanapiga simu. Yeah. Unfortunately right now sizi shika hizo calls, but there's a dance challenge, my guys. Dance for peace. Your phone ni digit. Dance for peace. Now, the National Youth Council will come up with a Dance for Peace campaign that aims to raise awareness of the importance of youth participation in public policy, while also encouraging voting na pia peaceful election processes. Now, kama unadai kuparticipate kwa hii challenge, you them. Enda kwa hivyo kwa Vibes Radio page yetu, our handle on TikTok. Alafu cheki vile tulidance hapa hivi kwa studio, and try and just do the same. Try and mimic your challenge, maze. Ukishamaliza na kudance, wewe express tu, usi take serious sana. Just tag us on the hashtag Dance for Peace at NYC Fursa na pia at Vibes Radio KE, and just like that, the video with the most likes, shares na comments, utapata chance ya kushinda kitu noma, na pia utakuja hapa kwa studio kudance na sisi. Remember, this initiative is brought to you by the National Youth Council in collaboration with UNDP and Mkenya Daima. Ara, tuko sawa?
Mimi niko poa maze.
Acha niende Gatudu right now.
Tunaenda kufanya nini?
I'm gonna, hang out with the who's and who's.
Who's and who's?
Uko Gatudu.
Oh, Gatudu.
Gatudu
South.
Very dangerous.
Mimi naenda Ishaweri.
Ishaweri. Your retirement homeland.
From the look of things, you're gonna slap me, so mimi naenda Ishaweri.
Vania, have a good day, manze.
Thank you for having me.
Exactly.
They still didn't play my jam.
Oh, nini? Yeah. Sawa. Wacha nicheze NYC yo ngoma si like. Alafu Black Woman next. Guys, peace out. Vabayado na come through. Later on kutakuwa na Vibes Adrenaline, and then wata shut down huko hivyo kabisa usiku with Sis and Seka. Myself and Brand, we out. Tutapatana kesho, my friend.
But you still owe me money.
Bra.
Nipe pesa yangu, bro.
Yo, manze.
10K kitu ya kukataa nayo mtu.
Yo, bra.
Unakata na 10K yangu.
Bare ndo unataka.
Bro.
Rebels and reggae heads, start your day the MVP way, where you are the MVP. No negative vibes.